Hi friends, how are you? Welcome to our weekly episode of Ask Me Anything. I am here to answer your questions, and the way that this works is people will leave questions here on a specific post or during this conversation. So I will be answering live questions as they come, but for our party starting question of the day, I have a question for you. And what is your favorite part of spring? As we are going into spring, number one, my favorite part of spring is that it's my birthday. I love my birthday. I have a lot of fun. I have a twin sister, so we have the opportunity to share our birthdays and have fun and just get the family together. I absolutely love that.
Sorry.
Okay, JD and the baby are right here. And I'm like, hello, friends. I'm trying to teach a class. Okay, let's get into keeping it professional. This week's question is going to be focusing on avoiding burnout. Tiffany asked, people keep repeating the same questions over and over. As an online educator, how do you avoid burnout and exhaustion and avoid your judgment of others having the better of you? As content creators and business owners, how can we feel less tired and bored about making the same content over and over and all the repurposing? Thank you so much. Okay. So Tiffany and anybody else who feels like Tiffany, I want everybody to take a complete collective breath. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, when we are getting feelings about creating our content because for some reason people aren't getting it or understanding it or asking again and again the same question, I'm also here to remind you to remember your why. Why did you get in this business to begin with? If you are, say, creating a course about creating courses, if you are creating a course around Instagram, if you're creating a course on how to be a better real estate agent, guess who is going to be taking the course? People who want to learn how to make a course or how to be a better real estate agent or learn more about Instagram. And guess what? The questions, since you're always getting a new wave of people finding your account and finding your course, are going to be the same. This is the business you got into. Facts. I refuse to get tired about the same questions of Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and building a brand. Why? Because my business empowers people on how to build a brand and market in social media. The minute I get tired of that is the minute I need to find something else to create content for so I get a new batch of questions. If I am not creating a new offer that is unlike anything else, the questions will be the same. However, that's like a little rough around the edges answer. If you are not planning on creating any other offers and you're like, Jasmine, I need to not feel resentment. Great, let's chat about what you can do next. I encourage people to schedule time to create something you've never created before. And by this, I mean you're going to be subconsciously and consciously looking for opportunities to grow. When we create without the pressure or the burden to monetize, when we explore something without the pressure to be like, I better make money off of this, then all of a sudden our brain is opening up new pathways to creativity and understanding what makes us tick. Now, when you're creating something you've never created before without the pressure of making it into a business, all of a sudden the happy part of your brain, the side of your brain that remembers what it feels like to learn something for the first time, it makes you wildly empathetic to the people who are learning what you teach for the first time. Case in point, I signed up, I invest in my business heavily. I just do. I believe that I will pay money to learn something. Even though I could probably learn it on the internet for free, I'm going to pay money because the time that I'm saving to learn it from a professional or somebody who's done it the way that I want it to get done, I put value on that. So I signed up for this new, I'm going to call it a membership, kind of sort of membership, but it's kind of like large scale group coaching, business coaching. So I sign up for this and I immediately go into the educational portal and I feel very overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. And I'm like, okay, what's next? And in that moment, I was struck with the realization that the feeling that I am feeling as I get into this educational portal is the exact same way that new users of Social Curator are coming on. I feel overwhelmed. Where do I start? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? Where do I find the best amount of information in the shortest amount of time? When you explore new things, number one, it gets you creative. Number two, it opens up pathways in your brain. And then number three, it puts you in your customer journey. All three of those things, friend. Let's get popping so that we avoid the resentment and avoid feeling like I've been asked the same question a billion times. Let's get into another one of our questions, and this is focused on Facebook stories. Chrissy asked, how important are Facebook stories? Do they help with the algorithm at all? Well, the quick answer is that the algorithm on Facebook loves inventory. When we're talking about inventory, we have to take into consideration that when you give Facebook anything, when it gives it anything, it's considered inventory. So we ask, what is considered inventory? Y'all, it's content, content, content. What are you creating on Facebook? It could be Facebook Live. You could be posting short form or long form videos, photos. It could be a text only. You could be doing a story. So the content that you're putting out is going to be inventory. Now, the Facebook algorithm is going to get this inventory and hopefully and logistically start handing out the content to people who are most likely to engage with that content. So chances are, if you are on a Facebook page and you happen to be watching a live video, well, the next time I go live, if you have liked or commented or engaged, well, Facebook's gonna serve up this live video because your previous actions will indicate what you see in the future. That's my daughter. She's an entire vibe. You know, I actually thought when I was gonna have a baby girl that she would be calm and docile and like so sweet. I ended up getting like a rock star who came back to life. Like a rock star, opera singer, and like trash collector. That's who I ended up getting. And I'm here for it. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I'm like, baby girl, I'm trying to teach. So my apologies in advance. Let's go back to focusing on inventory. Inventory will indicate, based on your followers' reactions to it, what they are going to see more in the future. So long story short, whatever you're doing, specifically if we're talking about Facebook, I'm going to encourage you to do as much as you can, however you can. So what does this mean? If you have the time to do Facebook stories and there's somebody who's engaging with your Facebook stories. Now on Facebook, you have Facebook stories, you have those engagement drivers. You could do a poll, you can do like an app, like you can just connect with people. They have like these stickers and engagement drivers that you can add to the story. If somebody engages with, say, like a quiz or a poll on your Facebook stories, it's an indication to the algorithm that they're interested in your content. If you have the opportunity to test it, see what happens and the engagement that you get, then based on whether or not you're getting a lot of like personal messages or people coming back to you or leaving, like sending you like a positive response to it, then that's a good indication that you should be doing more of it. Do you need to do them? No. Would it help? Well, let's test and see where it goes from there. This question, is it ever enough? Mary Tripp Vance asked, is there ever a time as an entrepreneur when you feel like, okay, this is enough? Or does the hustle last forever? I struggle with wanting more while at the same time wanting to be satisfied with everything I already have. I have a question right now, friends. A real question. Do you feel that you're at a point in your business where you wonder, does this grind have to go on forever? Do I always have to be in the hustle? Yes or no? Just like leave a comment because I actually want Mary and I want to see these responses. Have you ever asked yourself, does the hustle last forever? And she also said, I struggle with wanting more and at the same time wanting to be satisfied. Yes or no? Have you ever gone through that? I struggle with wanting more while at the same time wanting to be satisfied. Oh, talk to me like that ain't a thing. But I have to sit here and remind y'all that you can't get more if you're not satisfied with what you have now. You can't have more without being satisfied with what you have now, because if you're not satisfied with what you have now, what you want in the future is not going to satisfy you either. Because there was a time in your life where you imagined, if I ever got to this place, I would be satisfied. There was a time in your life where you thought to yourself, if I ever just had 3 kids, I would be satisfied. There was a time in your life where if I just married the person of my dreams, I would be satisfied. There was a time in your life where if I only made this much in a paycheck, if I only had this much in a bank account, if I only drove this car, then I would be satisfied. And then lo and behold, against wild odds, you get the 3 kids, you get the partner, maybe you get a little chump change to take your family on a Disney vacation. And what do you think to yourself? Man, this still doesn't feel like enough. So I am here to remind you that before we ever express desire for what we want without being appreciative for what we have today, we're going to be running in circles. Now that we have that laid out, now let's talk a little bit about business. I am here to tell you, friends, that the hustle doesn't last forever, but also remind you that discipline and work ethic will. I do believe, now I know people disagree with me. I don't believe that I want to hustle until I die. I don't want to grind until the grave. I don't. But I also believe that specifically when I start a new business, when I have a massive opportunity, if I'm pivoting, there is a level of hustle. There is a level of I have to learn something new and build something great, and I don't know how to do it. Okay, but after you pass the point, of I dreamt of being a photographer and now I have like a small business, and like, do I have to work as hard as I always have? No, because the more you do something, the easier it becomes, the more refined you build out your systems, and the more time you get back. So the hustle doesn't last forever. However, discipline and work ethic do. I'm not saying you need to work 15 hours a day for the rest of your life, but I also know that if I want to grow, that I'm going to have to be disciplined. I'm going to have to be doing the work. Now, if it's to say, like, let's just say I had a dream and I'm like, I just want $1 million business. And if I got to $1 million business, like with my products or my services, and it was like just built out, it was like a system that I got that number and I loved it. Guess what? I probably would be able to take a big step back in my business, hire a few key team members, hire a few virtual assistants, and then I could just do my 4-hour work week. I love that. If that's what you want to do, clap that up. Ooh, I love that. But if you're the kind of person who, as every year passes, your dreams get bigger or you want to do different things, well, then the qualities that you built as an entrepreneur will come in and serve you well. Now, you will always hear me say, I probably will never say grind until the grave. I don't believe that. I don't want that kind of life. But you should be sure as heck know that I am going to say that discipline and work ethic will always be around. And if that is not your cup of tea, no worries, but please know that there is no such thing as a job or a business that's purely passive income. You will always have to work a little bit to get or keep the thing that you want. Now, after saying this, so let's take you through the things that we have already spoken about. Because Mary had said, will it ever be enough? And she's balancing this desire to want more. And we talked about us not being able to get more if we're not thankful for what we have now. And then we went into talking about how discipline and work ethic will always be around. But I am here to also remind y'all that gratitude is an antidote to endless desire. We will always want more things, right? Like, oh, I want a nicer car. I want a bigger house. I want a different zip code. I want a smaller waist. Whatever the case may be. But in order for us to temper, in order for us to take our sights from being outside and hone them in on the inside, if that's what we want to do, if we want to hone it in, then gratitude keeps us grounded. I'm going to tell you right now that on the inside, there's a little part of me that's dying because there's so much noise going on. I am trying to build an 8, 9, and 10-figure business, and I'm doing it in the midst of going through a home reconstruction, and I just got word yesterday that the project is delayed yet another 6 weeks. I have a 14-month-old daughter. I have somebody making up some dropping off because we have some groceries coming in. I have my husband. I have baby music. I also have group coaching for a social curator starting in just like 45 minutes. And on the inside, y'all, I'm telling you, I want to DIE. Because I feel like, man, this isn't exactly professional. Like, man, is this really how multi-7-figure CEOs act? Probably not, but it's where I am right now. So instead of focusing on, oh, I can't wait till we get out of quarantine so I can get a quiet working space, or I can't wait for my house is built so that I can have a room that's not a tiny little apartment, or I can't wait. If I keep on saying I can't wait, I will not appreciate everything that I have right now, the screaming and all. So gratitude is the antidote to desire. I need to be thankful that I have a healthy daughter. There was a time when I prayed to have a child. And now that she has arrived in a flaming ball of awesomeness and high-pitched octaves, how dare me say, I wish it was a little quiet. How dare me? I spent a decade of my life dreaming for this moment. How dare me ever say, this is not how it's supposed to be? Really? It is how it is. If I am not thankful for this, I will not be thankful for the day that I actually have a quiet office. Now, we're going to close this on out with this idea that gratitude is also the antidote to endless envy. Gratitude is the antidote to endless envy. It is so easy for us to want things we never knew existed. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. I started realizing that when I started my business, I started thinking that I needed a certain car. I started thinking that my business had to bring in a certain amount of money. I never knew about that car. I'm gonna be honest. And when I say that car, we're not gonna talk about the car. Because I think that we all identify with something. If you've ever started a business and you're like, man, I just really want to pursue my passion. I want to help others. And then all of a sudden you get in the game and you're like, oh no, but I need to be at that level. I need to get those awards. I need to be published in those magazines. Whereas like a few years ago, that wasn't even on your radar. So if we can believe and know that gratitude is the antidote to endless desire, I'm gonna be thankful for what I have right now because that's super grounding. And also, gratitude is the antidote to endless envy. I am going to just come out and say that oftentimes we look at what somebody else has and we want it. And because they have it, we now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, feel less than. We must be thankful for things that we have that other people want. Do you know that if you have a living parent, even if like they kind of, get under your skin, there are people who have everything you want. They have the 10-figure business, they have the private jet, and all they really want is a 30-minute conversation with their dad or mom. There are people with 10-figure businesses, 18 homes around the world, and get to drive the fanciest cars. And what they really wish is that their child wasn't addicted to drugs. There are people who have everything you want and have a terminal illness. Just because people have things physically or monetarily, it doesn't mean that you don't have something that they would absolutely love. If we look around and we say, my God, my heart is beating, my fingers are working and my toes are working and my brain is working and I could smell and I could taste and I could speak and my heart is beating. Wow, what a gift. The minute we could say that, friends, is the minute that things change, that we become super calibrated to the things that truly, truly matter. So friends, I come on every week and I have conversations, and these are conversations that truly just pop up as a way for me to stay connected for you. So Marta had said, yes, systems make things happen easier. We're talking about business systems. Yes, we are. So Viana had said, kids are a blessing. I may be sacrificing my sleep, but my sleep wouldn't be worth it if I didn't have kids. My money, my job, my life would just be life without them. Yes. That is what I am talking about, friends, is when we look around and we have a moment to realize that we were put here on this earth to do something big, that the gratitude all of a sudden shifts to I am being intentional with my time, that I am not always going to be in a hustle, that not every day is going to be a grind. Will there be days like that? Perhaps. Will it last forever? No, but hard work and discipline are going to be the defining factors of how we move our businesses. So Tia and Donna, thank you for co-signing on this message. And Christina, thank you so much for being a social curator member and co-signing on the system. Okay, so speaking of that, every week I go on live. Now, if you would like to ask a question in advance, definitely check out the Facebook page. This is where we pick all of our questions before in advance. The baby is still screaming, if you guys can hear her again. I would apologize, but I'm not gonna ever silence her. She's gonna go on and do her own dang thing. So Monica had actually said, how do we learn to become more disciplined? I've been following your plans, but struggled to sticking it at times to put on tasks. Discipline is an exercise. There was a time where I couldn't lift weights. And I started off with small weights. And then I was like, man, my arms hurt. But over time, I got stronger. There was a time where I truly felt like I wouldn't be able to drink 8 cups of water. I was like, never. And you want to know what? This goes with me everywhere now. It was a discipline. So discipline is an exercise. The more you exercise, the more disciplined you come. Not just body exercise, but mental exercise, business exercise. So don't get down on yourself. What I want you to do is really focus on, I'm going to do whatever I can every day. And if one day you fall off the wagon, don't stay off the wagon, get back on. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So Ella says, thank you for the reminder and the power of gratitude. Joy says, today, 18 years ago, one of her parents had died. And I'm just saying, it's super grounding to know that what we have, we should not be take for granted. Okay, so friends, I come on live, I answer these questions. I do it from my heart because I do it that I believe that good begets good. Please, 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 if you have the capacity to share what you learn, please do it. When we share, we dwell in abundance, and abundance makes us happier. It makes us more grateful. It makes us more productive. So as a note to that, this is a reminder, if you are a member of Social Curator, we're going to be doing group coaching. We're going to be bringing people on camera. We're going to be having a ball. We're going to be diving in deep dives into businesses and learning how to take our business from one level to the next level. We're going to get this party started. Friends, thank you 1,000 times over, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Have a good one.